Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Singing yesterday, so maybe we sing a little less today, with your permission. Because we were recording yesterday and we were singing like from 11 to 6 in the studio, and then we got in the car and then we did a little more singing. And it's okay, it's still there, but go a little slow. That door stays open, that's okay, but then you have to go up and get my chowder. And I'll give you the key.
Huh? I can leave the entry open from that side.
No, it's fine by me, as long as I get my chowder. It's freezing. Melbourne. So, I don't have a formal seminar for you. I have an informal seminar for you. Which works well, I think, just as well as a formal one. Although I'm not projecting anything, I don't have a PowerPoint. I know it's disappointing when we're not PowerPointing. Because nowadays, when it's not audio-visual or interactive, when we don't divide up in groups, and when we don't do all these things, we kind of feel, wow, this is not a real seminar. But I like the old under the tree on the bank of the Ganga type of approach, that Maharaj Pariksit and such personalities were following at that day and age. Simply hearing, just hearing transcendental sound. So, of course, I had an idea for years back. I'll take it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Good. I wanted to speak a little bit about notes and how we are taking notes and the wealth of notes, different ways of keeping notes. Srila Prabhupada said that we should study his books and know these books like a lawyer knows the law books, and that we should be able to quote from them and so on. So that's kind of, a lawyer knows his law books quite well. So Prabhupada wanted like some in-depth study of his books, not just casual reading. We have both. We have reading Prabhupada's books and then studying Prabhupada's books, and we do both on different occasions. Then, in studying Prabhupada's books, there are many ways that it is done. Some ways it's maybe through a formal lesson plan, and the teacher has analyzed the subject matter before and has his curriculum material and is trying to transmit something to us and get us to assimilate it, type of thing, like in a classroom environment. And that's one way. We can take notes in a very analytical way, seeing what is the text here that we're dealing with, what are the points in the text, and systematically look at every point in the text. We can in a moment do a simple exercise with the Bhagavad Gita and take out some points then, to get an idea of that. There's another way. There's another way of taking notes. The systematic approach is good, but it takes a lot of time. I mean, you have to have a lot of time to do such a thing, and many of us don't have a lot of time. And reading is something we do, but less than we should, and like that. So, therefore, for those who don't have so much time, I have another option in taking notes, and that is whenever you come across something that you like, note it down. And then, you fill up a notebook with notes of things you like, and in the end you have a notebook that you like. And it's full with things that are nice. Right? So I have followed that system since a long time. I'm collecting quotes from scripture that I like. And anything I like, I note it down. And then nowadays it's sort of electronic, I must admit. But so I wrote something that I'll read you a few notes that I like. Or should we first do that Bhagavad Gita thing? Maybe we should do that first. Okay, let me go to the Bhagavad Gita content. Bhagavad Gita. Oh. 2. Something short. Okay, do chapter 15. Last verse. Oh, Krishna. Okay. So, here is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, text number 20. Iti guyatamam shastram idam muktam mayanaga itat budva buddhim mansyat krita krityas chavata. Iti Thus, Guyatamam, the most confidential, Shastram, revealed scripture, Idam, this, Uktam, disclosed, Maya, by me, Anaga, O sinless one, Eta, this, Buddha, understanding, Buddhiman, intelligent, Sha, one becomes, Krita Kritya, the most perfect in his endeavors, Cha, end, Bharata, O son of Bharata. Translation. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Okay, so what points are being made here? Most confidential what? Huh? Yeah, most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. And then the next point that's made, O sinless one, somebody who's sinless. It is now disclosed by me. And it says, whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So you can just write down a list, of points. Right? We can do the exercise. You can write it down. One most confidential part of Vedic scriptures. Two, sinless one, a sinless person. And now disclosed by Krishna. And then four, by understanding, one becomes wise. And his endeavors will know perfection. And that's the next point, that was 5. Yeah, so like that we see in the verse there are 5 points. We just broke down the subject matter into points, and one can study like that. One can break down all the verses in the points, then you can do the same with the purport. Of course, we will not do that now because it takes a bit of time, and plus you don't have Gitas in front of you. Some of you have the electronics, so then it's just difficult to do with that. You can sit. Yeah, no, that was good. Finished. Put it back. Give me those pens. Doesn't want to give. Keep doing. Anyway, so there's 5 points in the verse, and so many more points in the purport. And one way of making notes is just analyzing verses like that. Another thing that we do when we study scripture is we take verses and in sequence we read one verse after the other verse, and we see if the verses are dealing with a theme. Like this most confidential part of the Vedas was this verse. So that the previous verse was, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me. And then, so in the next verse, where it speaks about this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, we look in the previous verse to see what is this most confidential part that is being referred to here, which is one verse back. And we can still look a verse. Like that, when we are looking, we'll see that some verses are connected. They deal with the same theme. And this is another way of studying, where we group the verses together by themes. And you break up the whole book in that way, the whole Gita in that way. There is a Bhagavad Gita done by Ranchor, Prabhupada's disciple, Ranchor Prime. And what he has done, he's done exactly that. Whenever a few verses deal with the same theme, he grouped them together and he put a heading above the text about the theme. So it's quite nice actually. He breaks up the whole Bhagavad Gita in themes that are like...
Themes from different parts of the Gita that are dealing with the same topic put together?
No. Just following the Gita and just following the sequence of the verses, and say 3 verses together, a theme, like that. Yeah, so it's not like... it's not a compendium or something like that. No, it's just the Gita. But it's... if you look at it, you immediately get a different insight of the Gita. So it's a useful thing. Ranchor's Gita, you can see it. But you can do it yourself also. I mean, just like that. So that's a way to study. And then that's what I'm trying to show here. Yeah, you can also do what you're suggesting, is you go through a topic and you just look at common themes and do a thematic approach. That's another thing. We also have, again, another approach, which is the VTE, the approach, the Vaishnava training and education approach, developed by Rasamandal. So what he has done, he has developed a way of studying scripture where he has a list of aims and objectives. You can see it. Okay, hold on. I can see if I can download it now. Otherwise I have to do it by memory. Better not. Come. Aims. Objectives. VTE. Let's see what we get. No, don't get it. Okay. There's lots of VTE things. But the idea is this. He has, for example, topics like preaching application, then connection with Prabhupada. He has personal realization, and he uses a long list like that of topics, and then puts it over the text, and then puts different parts of the text under in these categories. So, and in that way he analyzes a text and goes through the Bhagavatam. Yeah. So there are different study methods that are being applied, and the VTE method. I have it in this machine, but it's going to take me too much time to get it out. So I want to go back to my own personal study system, the notes that I like, and read to you some notes that I like. And this was only an introduction to give you an idea of what else you can do. So I have many notes that I like, but I just give you a few. Where are they? Here. Yena janma sahasrani vasudeva nisevitaha tanmukhe Hare namani sada tistanti bharata. The names of the Lord remain constantly in the mouth of that person who serves Vasudeva for 1,000 births. So that's right. It's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami quotes this, and it's originally from the Padma Purana. So it's very interesting, I think, that the name remains constantly in the mouth of a person who serves Vasudeva for 1,000 births. Now we have been promoted. I mean, none of us are like that the name just stays in our mouths constantly. So none of us are having served him for 1,000 births. But we are promoted by mercy of a great Vaishnava like Srila Prabhupada, who certainly is on that level. And then by his encouragement, we started chanting. And in different ways, Prabhupada encouraged us to chant, so now we're chanting. But I like it because I look at myself that way from, I'm not that person who has served Vasudeva for 1,000 births, that is clear. Yeah. But somehow or other, we are here. And so, it's sometimes good to look at yourself like lacking in piety. Because when we get reflective like that, it's very healthy to observe oneself. Not that each time a thought comes, or each time a feeling comes, that we immediately act upon that and become totally controlled by that. We must learn to withdraw from the feelings that arise and observe them and say, where is this feeling coming from, and where is it, and what is its objective, what is it attaining? Is it beneficial? And anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. We accept whatever is favorable for the service of the Lord. We reject what is unfavorable, like that. But if we look at ourselves as, we clearly don't have 1,000 births, and therefore it's not surprising that sometimes we are weak in our resolution of being a devotee, because of lack of piety. So that's, I like this. Adi Purana cha kitva chamam manamani vicharan mama sanido iti bravimite satyam krito ham tasya sarjuna. In the Adi Purana, it is said, by singing my names, a person will attain a position close to me. I make this promise. That person, O Arjuna, purchases me. So that's a big encouragement, this verse, for chanting the holy name. By singing my names, a person will attain a position close to me. I make this promise. that person, O Arjuna, purchases me. So that's a great, great blessing when we can actually appreciate that by chanting we attain a position close to Krishna and we're purchasing Krishna. Purchasing literally means Krishna becomes our property. Krishna just becomes completely controlled by us. That's what Krishna is saying. So these are things that can give us hope, that can strengthen our motivation. That's why I like it, because I need things. I need things to give me strength. Right? After all, we take vows. You know, some of you have taken initiation today, and then some of you have taken earlier, and some of you are thinking about taking. Like that, you know, we take vows. And vows are interesting things, because with a vow, you think, you commit to act on a higher platform of behavior than what you would do if you would just be natural. It's just, we take these vows, and then we have to commit to do things like, if we would just let go, we wouldn't do it. So that's why the vow is, it takes a little effort, because to control ourselves, to follow that path. So, and that can be difficult at times, because we are committing to a behavior higher than what would come out spontaneously. And therefore we need encouragement to maintain these vows. And so therefore I'm collecting quotes that are helping with motivation and reasons to chant. You know. The more reasons I know for chanting, the better. The more, because all these reasons will convince me. So therefore, I thought this quote is valuable. In the Adi Purana it is said, by singing my names, a person will attain a position close to me. I make this promise. That person, O Arjuna, purchases me. So naturally, when we meditate on the benefits of chanting, then we'll become more motivated. A man will attain the qualities of the person with whom he associates, just as a crystal takes up the color of the object next to it. Therefore the wise man will take shelter of those who have qualities like his own for the prosperity of his family. Okay, that means that a crystal takes on the color of whatever is next to it. So association will give us the qualities of the people we associate with. So therefore, even amongst devotees, we associate with all the devotees, and we are respectful to all the devotees, but we are close with those devotees who are actually inspiring us to a higher commitment in spiritual life than we would have on our own. Just like whenever I'm present with my spiritual master, I always feel purified. It's not like that I have to artificially say that, I have to say like, no, I always feel purified. I always feel like here's like a higher level of commitment to Krishna than I have, to Prabhupada than I have. And in that way, that is the kind of association we're looking for. That kind of association, we will search out, and with such devotees we try and spend time. And then there may be others who we respect because they're devotees, but still we don't get so close and we don't spend so much time because somehow or other they do not inspire us in the same way. We don't see the same commitment in them. That's no problem. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, one can misunderstand such a statement that I've just made. Like someone said, I'm not going to Bhagavatam class anymore because the speakers are not pure, and therefore I stay in my room and I listen to a lecture by Prabhupada. That, no, that's not. If you listen to the lectures of Prabhupada, then you will find out that Prabhupada said we should hear the lectures of the devotees. And Prabhupada had devotees lecture in his presence. Even Lord Chaitanya had other devotees lecture in his presence. Prabhupada wanted us to hear from different speakers at different times. Because although they explain the same thing, they explain it in their own way. And sometimes you get a little bit of a special insight. Because someone has understood it different than we have. We've read it 100 times, but we never thought of it in that way. You see? I read it so many times and I never thought of the way he explained it. That could be true, it could be understood like that also. And so in this way, hearing from someone will very much broaden our understanding. And that is how knowledge in Krishna consciousness is accumulated. It's not that, we'll first know nothing, and then we get some right answers, and then we have knowledge. No. It's more like the lens of a camera, right? Gradually we zoom in more, gradually more focus, and in this way, gradually, first a general understanding, and then we fill in more and more detail, and we gradually understand better and better. So, by taking shelter of the devotees, like this, we'll become purified. All glories to Krishna's Vaisyas, who are just like Krishna in their age, qualities, pastime, dress and beauty. They are accustomed to playing on their flutes made of palm leaves, and they all have buffalo horn bugles ornamented like Krishna's, with jewels such as Indranila and with gold and coral. This is from the Nectar Devotion. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining. He said, true friendship exists between equals. And the more people have in common, right, the more they'll bond in friendship. Because they really feel we're sharing something. We're sharing something. And I was listening to a lecture like that, maybe 2 days ago, and Prabhupada is explaining that he's saying that just like the friend of the king is not an ordinary man, otherwise how could you be a friend of a king? But young girls have a friendship with other young girls, young boys with other young boys, and old men with other old men. Talk about things that old men talk about, disease. And cures, really, yes. Or, just some old memories. Remember, that, remember so-and-so, he went to Japan, oh, really? Like naturally, at like-minded things. Like Srila Prabhupada said, that a child naturally is inclined towards playing, and an old man is naturally inclined to think and to philosophize. That's very natural. Yeah, this old men are doing. So then friendship naturally comes about between equals. I thought that's why I like this quote. All glories to Krishna's Vayasyas, who are just like Krishna in their age, qualities, pastimes, dress and beauty. They're accustomed to playing on their flutes made of palm leaves. Flutes made of palm leaves. And they all have buffalo horn bugles, ornamented like Krishna's, with jewels such as Indra, Nila, and with gold and coral. So that's, yeah, they are the same age, the same dress, they play a flute like Krishna. Like that, they are very much like Krishna, and therefore very close to Krishna, Krishna's friends. So we in the same way need to share with people who are in the same position as we are. That will give us support and strength, because we can see, they go through the same things I'm going through, and they solve it in this way. So, like that, we need to find such friends. So I like this Krishna conscious philosophy, because it just spells it out. You know? I mean, things like that are in a way obvious. You know? Everyone kind of knows that. But then here it's spelled out. It's like just explained in detail. Everyone needs such friends who are in the same position. And then when we hear that so clearly spelled out, then immediately we can accept it. Yes, this is true. And that's why I noted this down, because it's like, yes, it's an example of something which is a practical point of life. The fact that everyone is equal friends, and yeah, that gives me some faith again in the scripture. Oh yeah, here it is. The nature of a boy is to be attached to playing, and the nature of an old man is to emerge in the flow of thought born from experience. So that's from Chaitanya Bhagavat, from Vrindavan Das Thakur. Srimati Radharani received from the Vasa Muni the benediction that whatever she cooked would be sweeter than nectar. That is a special feature of her cooking. Sometimes I've heard that Radharani's cooking also gives a long life, and so on. So this is quite famous, this quote about Radharani's cooking, and that was the reason why Mother Yasoda was insisting that she would cook for Krishna. Because Jyotila, Radharani's mother-in-law, did not desire it. Okay, here I have a quote from the Pope. One can take quotes from anywhere. And this one, why not from the Pope? We are not against the Pope. Meeting with former drug addicts, the Pope said, "Where do you think the Lord is? At church? No. His main place is in your weakness." So I thought that was a good statement of the Pope. I liked that. I thought, yes, former drug addicts, the Lord is in your weakness. It's there that when we turn to the Lord, that we find shelter. That's the point. Not that He is only there in that weakness, that's not the point. But if we in our weakness turn to Krishna, then we find shelter. And weakness is not only that of a bad habit that a drug addict has, but weakness is also when we become overwhelmed by distress. That's another form of weakness of happiness. Or when we become controlled by anger, weakness of self-control. When we become controlled by pride, weakness of lack of humility. So like that we can see. And in all these things, where we feel weak, if we turn to Krishna, we'll find strength. So in that way, this thing of the Pope is quite nice. I liked it. Yeah. Gotta hand it to the Pope. He did well. Nice. This one is Pope Francis. He has some character, there's no doubt about it. Here's from Valmiki in the Ramayana. Kiskindaganda, Sugriva to Lord Ram. Do not allow grief to overpower you, O great hero. Wise men face every calamity with fortitude and do not yield to sorrow. Only the foolish are overcome by lamentation, losing their intelligence and strength and sinking like an overloaded boat. O Ram, I'm here to help you cast away your grief. Yeah. I like this quote because I like the attitude. I like the attitude towards grief. Sugriva wasn't sort of speaking from trying to cheer him up, trying to sort of say like, well, you'll be all right, I mean, it's like, I know it's bad, but like, you'll get over it, in time it looks better, and actually the sun shines, and it's not all bad, kind of trying something to cheer him up. No, he wasn't trying to cheer him up. He said, do not allow grief to overpower you, O great hero. Wise men face every calamity with fortitude and do not yield to sorrow. Only the foolish are overcome by lamentation, losing their intelligence and strength and sinking like an overloaded boat. O Ram, I am here to help you cast away your grief. So, it's a philosophical answer to grief, and how it's not needed, and that it's foolish. So I kind of like that. Well, here was a quote from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Even a bird, if even a bird chants Lord Chaitanya's name, that soul will go to Lord Chaitanya's abode. So that's quite a mercy. Prabhupada used to sometimes say that we should not chant just like a parrot, but we should chant really like with the heart. But here it said that even if a parrot chants, that parrot also will attain the abode of the Lord. So that's nice. You have a parrot? Nobody has a parrot. Bhavananda used to have a parrot. And a cockatoo actually, not a parrot, but a cockatoo. And one day he gave that cockatoo to my former wife. And she was really good with animals. And she comes walking in with this cockatoo on her shoulder. And I go, I couldn't believe it. Then we had a cockatoo. I mean, cockatoos like, so screaming its head off inside. A cockatoo inside, you know. I mean, suddenly I was living with a cockatoo. And I couldn't say, it's gotta go. Because she got him from the guru. Gift from the guru. Yeah, that was really something there. I had like a cockatoo. And the cockatoo, it was sitting on a door, and the thing ate half the door. Incredible. It ate half the door. That's like... Anyway, she let it fly, and it would always come back for months, and then one day it never came back. Cockatoo is gone. I hope it's all right. My best wishes to the cockatoo. But I think the door was happy. The door was happy that the cockatoo was gone. So, but at least parrots can chant Hare Krishna. But if you have a parrot, you know. That's nice. Chanting parrot. Because if they chant, they can go back to God. Oh, here's this famous quote from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Eye achutta namashak ihar bhojanaya Krishna anurag. The Lord said, this sak is known as achyuta. Actually, in the verses prior to this, it is discussed that of different vegetables, spinach or sak is the most fortunate. So, you know, it's nice to know, you fortunate vegetable. Sak is the most fortunate vegetable. Yes. Why is it so? Lord Chaitanya was taking this sak. And the Lord said, this sak is known as achyuta. By eating this, one develops attachment to Krishna. Do come in. Aye, aye. Yahan se bhi theek hai. Yeah, so sak, you know, like it's not just a Bengali thing, but here we see that this different types of sak can give us Krishna consciousness. By eating achyuta sak, one develops attachment for Krishna. So next time you're in Mayapur, ask for achyuta sak, okay? Is there any achyuta sak? And the Bengalis, they know. So, achyuta sak, sure. Attachment to Krishna. Nice. There's another one. By eating patala, vastuka, and kalashak, one enjoys the Vaishnava association birth after birth. So, patala, vastuka, and kalashak. So you can remember that also, if you can remember. I can't. I forgot it again. Patala, vastuka, kalashak. No, this time I remembered. Patala sak, skinny sak, patala sak, vastuka, and kalashak, black spinach. I've got it. Okay, who can repeat that? Which saks give you what? Anybody? Volunteers? Huh? Wake up now. Which sak gives you? Huh? You, go ahead. Which sak? Achyuta sak. What does it do? No, achyuta sak gives us attachment for Krishna. Attachment for Krishna, achyuta sak. Yeah. And the other saks? Yeah. Patala vastuka. Patala shak. Patala. Patala. Patala means skinny. Skinny sak. Patala sak. Kala shak bhi ache. Kala shak. Black spinach. Patala, skinny spinach, black spinach, and vastuka. These, they give you what? Association of the Vaishnavas, birth after birth. Yeah. So next time in Mayapur, ask for these kind of socks. Patala, Kala, vastuka, Achyuta sak. Achyuta saki, attachment to Krishna. So this is a good tip for those who want to go to Mayapur. Sakala pavitra kare ye ganga tulasi tarahayana danya tomara parasi. Ganga and tulasi are known to purify everything, but even they are purified by your touch. Isn't that nice? I really like that, sort of. Yeah, Ganga and Tulasi, they purify everything, but even they are purified by touching Krishna. So here we offer the Tulasi to the feet of Krishna, and Tulasi gets purified in the process. Ganga Jal we are offering. Ganga gets purified. So this is very nice. That is the power of the Lord. Krishna Surya Sam Maya Andhakar. Krishna is the supreme pure. The sun shines everywhere, also in contaminated places. In India is a wonderful country, don't take me wrong. I like India a lot. But in India, there are smells that you would not smell anywhere in the world. And what should I say? I mean, incredible smells. I didn't know they existed, but they do. And but somehow or other, the sun, when it comes to such places, the sun purifies also those places. See, and the sun stays pure. The sun is not. The sun is never polluted. So that is Krishna, supreme pure, even more pure than Ganga and Tulasi. The living entity in the material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. It's a "you're not the body" quote, but it's always good to sort of remember this, you're not the body, and that like these different conceptions of life are just like air. And here we are, so convinced that this is what we are, and we're so much acting from our current bodily situation, so much. It's so difficult to actually rise above the bodily concept of life. And yet we have nothing to do with these bodies. And see, that what really happens at the time of death, that identification with this body breaks. And now it's just inconceivable to us. It's scary. You think, oh no, but it just breaks. There's that famous story of Indra who was cursed to become a hawk, and that Brahma came and thought, let me save him. Indra, you are Indra, you've forgotten, you've been cursed. Indra, you can return now. No, how can I return? I'm here with my nice pig wife and my lovely little piggy kids, and I got a great mud pool here. How can I leave? Oh no. But Indra, you are Indra. No. Yeah, but I'm a pig. I have this pig family. So it's amazing. Even Indra had become so attached to his pig family. I don't know about us, but I only know about it. Well, this is from a mundane source, from Goethe, who said, when a man is old, he has to do more than when he's young. I wrote it down for myself, So why is that? Why is this? It is because you're running out of time. You're running out of time. There's no more time to play around. When you're young, play a bit, waste some time, you know what I mean? You got your whole life ahead of you. But when you're old, running out of time, still so much to do. No time to waste. That's why an old man has to do more than a young man. He has to do more. He's got so much to do in the short time that is left. That's what we see in Prabhupada, that's why I like this quote also because, and I even put it in the Vyasa Puja offering somewhere, because Prabhupada embodied that. He did more. He did more when he was old. He did incredible things. So that's a Vaishnava. So much to do. It takes so long to become Krishna conscious. For such a long time we're dragging our feet. Shall I chant? Shall I not chant? Yes, I must chant. Okay, I'm gonna follow my initiation vows. Okay, do all these things, and it's oh gosh, it's not easy. It's be a devotee. So much struggle, and before you know it, your whole life has gone by with struggle, with successes and failures. And then what? And still you haven't done anything. Yeah? So then when you're finally old, then it's time you do something to push on this movement into the world. And the whole world is sunken into deep ignorance. And our whole life we are thinking, it's I'm trying. Somebody goes, so how is your Krishna consciousness? I'm trying. It means whenever somebody says I'm trying, it means they're not doing. Are you chanting? I'm trying. It means you're not chanting. Get my point? So when everyone says I'm trying, a whole life of trying, but when will we do? Finally, when will we do? I hope we'll do it when we're old, at least. Better do it now. Prahlad Maharaj was saying to the sons of the demons, he's saying that now we should act upon this knowledge. Now we are pragya, now we're old enough to understand the difference. Now we should act upon it. Yeah. If anyone wants to kind of respond, that's most welcome. Questions, comments? Because I'm just waffling away. Yeah.
I have a question, but not about this one, about one.
Okay, yeah.
You were saying how we need to associate with the devotees that inspire us, so usually they'd be more advanced devotees, and then we need to befriend devotees that are in similar situations, so we support each other. So then what's the difference between associating with senior devotees and then befriending devotees?
Yeah, we need some friends who are like us, so that we can share, and that together we can go forward. Of course, if we ourselves are full of doubt, and we go look for someone else who's full of doubt, then that may not be the greatest help for us. Yeah. So whatever is favorable, then that is not favorable to look for someone equal. Then better look for someone superior who will pull us up. But generally we have both. someone like us to give us some support, to share with, but we connect with senior Vaishnavas because we know that will really, ultimately is more important. So in the same way, you have the guru-disciple relationship and you have the relationship with the general devotees. And you may see the general devotees every day, and actually, in terms of quantity, you get a lot of association. From the spiritual master, you may get less time, but then it's much deeper. It goes more deep. Yeah. So in that way, we need both. Some people for every day, and some people who can give us that deeper inspiration that really determines a vision. Like one of the things the spiritual master does is that he is helping us to develop a vision for our life that is greater than what we would have come up with on our own. You see? That's what the Guru does. With the Guru, the Guru is not going to micromanage our life. Guru Maharaj, can I read? Blessings for life. Guru Maharaj, can I take prasad? Blessings for life. Alright, so all that's done. Now what? The main thing the spiritual master does is that he helps us to develop a vision of what we can do with our life, which is greater than what we would come up with our own. And sometimes can be a little bit demanding, like for Tamal Krishna Maharaj it was. We know that story that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was with Prabhupada, and devotees were complaining about that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was such a controller, and at one point Maharaj was getting frustrated, and then he said to Prabhupada, I was like, I don't know what to do, I mean, I may as well go to China. And Prabhupada held him to it. Prabhupada said, yes. He said, no, that was just an expression, that was just a means. Prabhupada said, no, Krishna spoke through your mouth. And he sent him to China. Which was a difficult thing, especially at the days of Mao Zedong and all that, and whoever came after, how to go about bringing Krishna consciousness into such a country. How to get in. But Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very intelligent, very intelligent. He was like Prabhupada's manager, and he was the best. He was the very best. I mean, I have personally experienced quite a bit how expert he was. He was extremely expert. When I became temple president of the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, there was a special problem situation. And that problem situation was that there had been a person who was a local hired manager in the guest house, who was not very honest, and who was infiltrating the project, and some devotees thought he's a demon. So one devotee decided to do something about it, and one day he shot him. So that was a major way to solve a problem, kind of drastic. Anyway, I became temple president just 10 days later, to sort of clean up the situation. So it was quite a difficult thing. And the person who had been shot, he was from a sensitive family, a Panda family. So the Pandas, they are like from a Brahmin origin, but they are they are in holy places and they catch local people and tour them around and trying to get money out of them. It's a very strong kind of community. So this person was from that background. So one day his father came, and his father came into my office and said that the office of my son, no one can touch it. No one can touch it. It should be a memorial. And I said, oh my God, you know what I'm going to do with this? You know, it's a major problem. I mean, this man, he had two other sons, you know, you can see it coming, you know, like after a while he's going to say, you know, like the family is struggling so much now that, you know, Kilan is no longer here, you know, why not put some of his brothers? So that was very sensitive. So then, I didn't know what to do, and I went to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, you gotta take everything out of that office. I said, yeah. Easier said than done. And I said, I'll be in big trouble, you know. He said, no. He said, you know what you do? We have these preaching rooms in the back of the temple. And there you put a picture of him with a beautiful cloth garland, you know, like that. And when his father comes and complains that you have emptied out the office, then you take him to the temple and say, this is the memorial, not in some back place, but here where he belongs, in the temple. So I did it. I did the whole thing, and it worked really well. It worked really well. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very expert. I'll tell you what, he was a really good manager and also a little tricky, you know, as a manager. He had lots of tricks. One time, he invited me for lunch. So I'm thinking, why has he invited me for lunch? Something is cooking, you know. He wants something. You know, it's like, so anyway, I got invited for lunch. And he's personally serving prasadam, you know, which he usually didn't do. So he's serving prasadam and he's giving me these hot pakoras, you know, and he says, take, you know, and he's forcing me, you take. So I take one, really hot. So I put this hot pakora in my mouth, and I reach for the water, and the cup is empty. and I'm sitting there with this hot pakora in my mouth, and then he begins, so, I wanted to talk to you. And I couldn't say anything. I tell you, he was very tricky to talk to. I couldn't believe it, you know. Anyway, yeah, after some time, I mean, I swallowed the thing. And then, of course, I gave my reply. But he had a good head start on me. So what to do? Yes, he was very expert. So, I forgot why I'm telling the story, but your question was what?
About the associating of the senior devotees or the different people.
Yeah. So the senior devotees, they can give us this vision. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was a great visionary, and actually I learned also from him how to be a guru, because I thought that he did a good job in that, in helping people to develop a vision for their lives. He was really like, that was his cutting edge, you know, a vision for your life. Well, That is not necessarily done on the day of initiation. You go like, okay, well, then what's the vision for my life? You gave me the beats, you gave me everything. Now, what's the vision? I'm going to have customers today coming on my door and say, okay, what's the vision? But no, not like that. It comes with time. It comes with time. So senior devotees can give us, more vision of where we are, where we should be heading, and that's very important. So seek out the senior devotees where you can, and some like-minded friends for support, to hold your hand before you go, and to say, how was it when you come back? Questions, questions, questions.
Maharaj, your first favorite quote was it is understood that somebody who remembers Krishna, the name of Vasudeva, he would have served Vasudeva for 1,000 lives.
One who can constantly chant the holy name has served Vasudeva for 1,000 lives.
Yes. My question is, does it take that long to go back to Godhead?
It's very short. 1,000 lives is nothing. Gosh, I'm giving it to you pretty easy. Only 1,000 lives. Some shake their heads. No, it's like, as I said, we got the mercy. So by the mercy we can go this life. We got the mercy. That's the shortcut. So we don't do it on piety. What is our piety? Yeah. What is our piety? Little. Not so much. Otherwise we would be more determined. We would be stronger. We would be fixed. But we're not so fixed. Fickle-minded. See? So that means we are lacking in piety. I spoke about this karma, aparapta phalam. There's aparapta karma. There's karma that's unmanifest and is in the stock in the heart. So that stock has to be replaced for punya, for pious activity. But then 3 types of punya, 3 types of sukriti. There is karma-mukhi, moksha-mukhi and bhakti-mukhi sukriti. Karma-mukhi sukriti is simply piety that gives you material benefit in the next life. You'll get a nice material situation from karma-mukhi. So that's from doing mundane things that are pious, making a well, a dharamshala, helping the poor. These are all kinds of karma-mukhi. They give you better material situation. Moksha-mukhi, it will give you liberation. But bhakti-mukhi, that's what we're talking about. So 1,000 lives chanting. Then you can chant all the time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Only 999 more. Giving it cheap today. No, so it's not that you have to go 1,000 lives. Prabhupada said this life, 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, this life you will go. Special bargain. Get it cheap. Even if you don't chant all the time now, you will when you're in the spiritual world. Yeah?
Maharaj, at the time of that, if someone is thinking about the spiritual master instead of Krishna, so what will happen to him?
Yeah, it's perfect. Then the spiritual master will take him to Krishna. Yeah. Spiritual master. In some cases, Prabhupada came, Upendra. Upendra was Prabhupada's servant. Upendra served him. like quite extensively in the early days, personal servant. But then later, after Prabhupada left, Upendra was a little weak for some years. And then he got ill, and then he was leaving. And then, suddenly, as he was lying in bed, at the end, he sat up. Suddenly he sat up and said, Prabhupada, you have come. People heard. Then he left. So, got saved by the spiritual master. And what if your spiritual master is not Prabhupada? Still, it'll take you back to God. More quotes? Got a little more time. One quote. Lord Vishvambara has begun to dance. With thunderous shouts, he's turning the devotees into dancing peacocks, while his flowing tears fill the world with an unending monsoon, and with his bright effulgence filling the directions with lightning. The Vishvambara rain cloud, who delights the world, is now dancing. So that's poetry. That's really amazing poetry, I think. Lord Vishvambara has begun to dance, and with thunderous shout, he's turning the devotees into dancing peacocks. It's actually a fact. Those who are villagers, they know that the peacocks like to dance in the rainy season. We used to see on the Goshala land in Vrindavan. I have seen many times. So that is a fact. So taking that and writing it into this whole poetic, metaphorical description of devotees like dancing peacock, while flowing tears. Lord Vishvambara has begun to dance. With thunderous shouts, he's turning the devotees into dancing peacocks. It's nice, devotees like dancing peacocks. While his flowing tears fill the world with an unending monsoon. See, Lord Chaitanya is famous for crying unlimited tears. Unending monsoon. And with his bright effulgence filling the directions with lightning, the Vishvambara rain cloud, who delights the world, is now dancing. This is from Kavi Karnapur, from Chaitanya Chandradoya Natak. So Kavi Karnapur is the one who, as a child, sucked the toe of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's a good thing. He got a lot of benefit from that particular activity. Formerly, the Supreme Lord removed the great burden of many invincible demons from the earth. I think that now, with his forceful steps, the Lord is removing the earth's unhappiness by personally dancing upon her with his devotees. So as Krishna, we remember that Bhumi went to Lord Brahma and cried that the earth was overburdened with military phalanxes of so many unqualified kings and so on. And then the Lord sent a message to Brahma that soon I will appear, and all the demigods would appear, and found that the Yadus, and then Krishna came, and Krishna killed so many demons and killed Kamsa, and so on. And of course, so many of these military armies were defeated by Krishna also. So formerly Krishna did that, but now he's purifying the world by dancing with the devotees. We did last night a little bit. love of God is speaking. Listen, one path is the rules of the scripture. Another path is spontaneous love. The first follows rules. The second does not. Friendship. The path without rules takes a long time. Love of God, not always. During a flood, a boat can quickly go without following any established path. At another time, even the most established path is difficult on the winding river. So, love of God in a discussion with friendship. This is also part of the Chanda Chandradoy Natak, which is drama. So, love of God is personally speaking, and love of God is explaining that, yes, when there's a flood, then you do not need to go by the path of rules and regulation, the normal pathway. Then you can go direct. So when love of God begins to overtake our heart, we're no longer bound to all these rules. We can just go directly to Krishna. When there's a flood, that means not a little love of God, but a flood. It's just everywhere, just flooded with love of God. Yeah. So, is it a nice quote? I think it's a nice quote. If you don't like my quote, I like it. Yeah, this is from Islam. You should worship God as if you saw Him, for although you do not see Him, He sees you. Well, of course, it's a little similar to our own quote that we should not be so worried about seeing God, but that we should do something that makes Him see us. And so in this case, you should worship God as if you saw Him, for although you do not see Him, He sees you. So those are, in India, there's a lot of Hindu-Muslim tension. I myself got caught on several occasions. First of all, there was the 93 breaking of the mosque in Ayodhya. Oh, that was a drama. You were also in Vrindavan at the time? Gosh, that was a mess. That was like a civil war. And another occasion, I went through, there was in Makrana, a place where many Muslims are there. And one Hindu, he got drunk, because nowadays Hindus get drunk. Before they didn't do that, but nowadays it's not uncommon. So one Hindu got drunk and told this Muslim, this book, Satanic Verses from Salman Rushdie, is really good. Well, that created a whole thing, that created a big thing. It's like some Muslims beat up that Hindu, the Hindus, then set fire to a Muslim car, and then from there on, next thing, half the town was burning. They came with petrol running out of the mosque. So these were Pakka Hindu Muslim riots and curfews and all this. India knows a lot of that, and there is a lot of loving exchanges between Hindus and Muslims in that way. And that also reflects in the relationship between India and Pakistan, where at one point Bajpayee did an underground explosion at the border of Pakistan, just on the border, a nuclear explosion. Just to let Pakistan know, like, you mess with us, this is what you're gonna get. Jai Hind and all of that. But at the same time though, as Vaishnavas, we are a bit more transcendental. And we can appreciate that even in Islam there is good knowledge and there are saintly persons. There's this one lady who was a Sufi, and I forgot her full name. She was from Basra, something from Basra. And there's this story about her that one day she came out of the house with a bucket of fire and a bucket of water. And people said, "Hey, where are you going with a bucket of fire and a bucket of water?" She said, "With this water, I'm going to put out the fire of hell. And with this fire, I'm going to burn heaven." Oh, you're going to burn heaven? She said, "Yes." And then she said, because most people, they just practice their religious activities either to avoid hell or either to attain heaven. And nobody is actually worshipping out of love of God. So there is also this understanding. There's also this understanding that love of God is the goal. And Srila Prabhupada pointed that out, that every religion is basically bona fide and all right, as long as it increases our love of God. And when Prabhupada was accused by Muslims that he was trying to convert Muslims to Hinduism, Prabhupada said, "No, we are trying to make Muslims better Muslims, Christians better Christians, and Hindus better Hindus, by teaching them the real purpose of their religion, which is to develop love of God." So, in that way we can be cross-cultural and also appreciate and rise above this hate. Because if we hate the Pakistanis, then what will we be in our next life? A Paki. That's it, the next life. You'll be born in Rawalpindi or Lahore. Lahorrible. Lahore is short for Lahorrible. Anyway, sorry to say, it's a horrible place in Pakistan. Very dirty place. I've been to many. Yeah, I've been in Pakistan. Decorate the deity as nicely as possible with nice flowers and dress. You will forget all other false beauty. Prabhupada in a letter to Kirtanananda. Decorate the deity as nicely as possible with nice flowers and dress. You will forget all other false beauty. It's very profound. That's how it is. And we simply, the more we invest in these things, the more we rise above the material world. Otherwise, it's not so easy to rise above the material world. How much have we really changed? Here we are, now we are devotees. And now what? Still wearing the same jacket, still the same job, still the same house in the same street, still with the same television in the same corner, still, all right, maybe a few different things in the fridge, but, is it enough? Is it enough to really change our life? That is the question. Therefore, We must actually worship Krishna. Yeah. If spiritual life is reduced, right, to the 4 regulative principles, then it is very dry. It's like, you promise, no meat, fish, eggs, okay, don't do that. But then, it's like, limits what you can eat, huh? And no more, that means no more eating in restaurants, because practically, all restaurants contaminated. That means, family reunions, forget it. You can't eat there either, They're all together, happy party, and you're sitting there. Would you like some of the cake? No, thank you, don't take cake. Okay, no cake, no. Would you like some of the juice? Can I read the label? I mean, pull out your E-number guide. My gosh, it's like, it's tough. No meat, fish or eggs. No gambling. You are the 1 millionth visitor on this site. You have won a prize. Click here. Click. I'm not clicking. Come on, click. Just one click. You click once. Whoa. You click twice and thrice, and before you know it, you're clicking away. And many an accountant has manipulated the books at work and was caught after a while. Internet gambling, rapidly growing, a problem of this era. Internet gambling, gamble everything away. Gambling, which previously was so hard, is now available at one click. If you have your iPhone, you can pay with one click. There you go. Gamble. Yeah, so like this, if Krishna consciousness is reduced to the 4 regulative principles, then after a while we will feel the pressure. We'll feel the pressure. Therefore, Krishna consciousness has to have a positive experience. Decorate the deity as nicely as possible with nice flowers and dress. You will forget all other false beauty. You see. Question. Comment. Sure. Actually, the Lord's beauty is super excellent, surpassing even the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. The devotees of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets want to see the Lord as the most beautiful. But the devotees in Gokul or Krishna Loka want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. Srila Prabhupada in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. So that's interesting. Because we want to see Krishna happy. And therefore, the devotee wants to see Krishna happy, and Krishna is most happy, and Radharani is worshipped and is in the center of the attention, and is the most beautiful. That is most pleasing to him. Therefore, for Krishna's happiness, and therefore the devotees in Gokul want to see Radharani more beautiful than Krishna. So that is the essence of our lineage, right? To always look for the happiness of Krishna and make arrangements for the happiness of Krishna. Knowing well that Srimati Radharani is the one who can please Krishna the most. Therefore, we assist her. And that is our mood, to assist. Gopi Partapada Kamali or Das Nadas Nadas. To assist the servants of the Lord. And to be a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant 100 times removed. These are fine sentiments. These are topics that are coming up for serious devotees that are going beyond catching a little Mahaprasadam, some sabji puri, some devotees that really are looking to do more than that come to the temple not just for social life, but that come to the temple to change their life. That say, yes, Krishna for me is the priority in my life. Krishna is number one. This is what spiritual life is. Krishna number one. Ek number to Krishna hai. और 420 हमारा नंबर है. 420, for those who don't know, means cheaters. If someone is a paka 420, 420, it has to do with the law book actually. See, in the Indian law book, there is an article, yes, 420, and according to that article, there a cheater is defined, right? So therefore, any cheater is called a 420, and add paka to it to make it complete. And paka 420. Yes, but Krishna's number is one. He is number one. Must be. And we are far behind with our 420. One more, last quote. Ultimate quote. I just look for one now. Oh, this is nice, yeah. Krishna is speaking. I think that my father and others born in Gokul, who are the abodes of Prem, are the original forms, and the people of Mathura are their reflections. My experience is the proof of this. When I experience the people of Vraja, I do not think of the people of Mathura, but when I experience the people of Mathura, I remember the residents of Vraja. From Jiva Goswami Gopal Chandra. I'll read it again if it went over your head. I think that my father and others born in Gokul, who are the abodes of Prem, are the original forms. So the residents of Gokul, original forms. People of Mathura, their reflections. Why? Why is he saying that? My experience is the proof of this. When I experience the people of Vraja, I do not think of the people of Mathura. But when I experience the people of Mathura, I remember the residents of Vraja. Jiva Goswami speaking. Deep reflection. And yes, Vrindavan is Krishna's home. Prabhupada called it his home. Prabhupada said, Vrindavan my home, Bombay office, Mayapur place of worship. So for us also, Vrindavan is our home. It has to be our home because Krishna lives there. So where else could we be at home? Since it happens to be the place where Krishna lives, we'll naturally be at home there, even if it is Torah garam, garam, a little warm sometimes, or also a bit fresh in the winter. And the seasons where it is just nice are quite short in between. So most of the time Vrindavan is too hot or too cold. But what to do? Krishna lives there, so it's our home. And nowhere else can be our home. How can any other place? And Mayapur is no different. So, these places, these dhams, are the special places. And I have one quote which is somewhere else in another book, which I'm not going to open, but that quote is saying that without the dham, without worshipping the dham, you cannot fully realize the import of the Nam. Yeah, the full import of chanting of Hare Krishna without the Dham cannot be realized, because ultimately the Dham is where Krishna reveals his pastimes, and to fully understand the holy name means we must understand Krishna's pastimes. Alright, those were the quotes, and as you see, quoting, quotes are useful things. All these were a selection of quotes, and all of them carry a concentrated spiritual message. And just a simple exercise like that, reading some of these quotes, we can see that it gives us some quality meditation on Krishna. And like this, my little quote book, I read it sometimes when I travel, when I'm a bit too tired to read a whole book. I just read a few quotes in between and meditate on them. And that meditation is carrying me on the path. And so we have to nourish ourselves spiritually. You cannot just live with know this, know that, and we need to fill our life with transcendental juice. So therefore I can recommend that you start keeping a notebook with nectar quotes. You have a nectar notebook. And then you have many nectar notebooks. And then whenever you want some nectar, you just read your notebooks. Okay, question. Slightly louder.
What is the difference between Vrindavan Leela and Nikunj Leela?
I see. Vrindavan Leela is a broad description of Krishna's pastimes in Vraja, together with his, with all his associates. So Krishna's Akila Rasamrita Murti is the complete manifestation of all rasas, and he maintains rasas, different rasas, with different people, or living entities. He maintains rasas with the trees, who are in Santaras, then there are others who are personal servants in Dasyaras, and again there are friends in Sakyaras. When it comes to Nikunja Lila, this is part of Madhurya Ras. Krishna is performing his pastimes with the gopis. Rupa Goswami makes a distinction. He says 4 rasas, from Santa up to Sakya Ras, they are Sambandha Nuga. And then the others, what was that? They are... No. What did he say? Anyway, there's a different category. One is just in the general relationship, but the Madhurya Rasa is very complicated because there is that loving exchange and an apparently male and female attraction, which is difficult for us to understand in this world. Yet, it is never to be compared with the mundane exchanges between men and women. It is totally selfless, and the only interest of the gopis is to see Krishna's happiness. So this Nikunja Lila are the pastimes that Krishna performs in the gopis, with the gopis. For example, around Radhakund, there are different kunjas which are maintained by the Astasakis. They have like different gardens, different groves with seating arrangements and bushes and decorated and marble floors and very beautiful. In the spiritual Radhakund, not the one that we see. And then there are some kunjas that are actually owned by the cowherd boys. But the cowherd boys, they turn them over to the gopis, to the sakis to take care. Yeah, because there it is only, some cowherd boys are also there as messengers or servants. Yeah, they can go there. But mostly the cowherd boys are elsewhere in Vrindavan. And the Priyanarma Sakas are some Sakas that also get involved in Madhurya activities, sometimes in serving in these leelas. But otherwise Nikunja Leela is in the Madhurya Ras, you see. ठीक है, वो भैया तो 1 बजे तो आ गया, तो ट्रेन तो जा रहा है भैया, मैं कब तो लेट होगा, जल्दी जल्दी.
Why does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu choose Jagannath Puri to live and worship Jagannath? Why not Vrindavan?
That, is not exactly explained by the Acharyas. We can have our own idea about that. Our idea would be that, especially there in Jagannath Puri, this mood of vipralamba, this mood of separation from Krishna is experienced. Whereas Vrindavan is the place of being with Krishna. In Puri, there is the mood of separation from Krishna, which is viraha bhav. So viraha bhav is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was displaying in Jagannath Puri. So the whole Ratha Yatra is about viraha bhav. Ratha Yatra means bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. The gopis had waited long enough. There was this eclipse in Kurukshetra and still Krishna was in Dwarka dressed like a king, and now they were going to Kurukshetra to perform yajna. The residents of Vrindavan also went. The gopis, when they saw Krishna after a long time, were very happy, but yet they felt like we want to see him in Vrindavan, not in this place. Then the gopis were fed up and were not going to wait any longer. They took the reins of the chariot and they start pulling the chariot back to Vrindavan. And Ratha Yatra is that festival where Krishna is being pulled back from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. And the gardens of Gundicha, where Jagannath goes at the end of Ratha Yatra, represent Vrindavan. So therefore, Puri is the place of this vipralamba or viraha bhav, this mood of separation. And it said in the mood of separation, your love for Krishna becomes even stronger. You know what I mean? Anything, you love it. If you don't get it, you want it even more. In this way, in separation, the love for Krishna is even deeper and intenser. Anyway, this is quite an advanced topic for those who are still quite attached to the material energy. So we understand it, this viraha bhav, theoretically, but emotionally we can actually not appreciate it fully. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for your time and see you again.